I'm Michelle,
And I'm Michael.
and we conducted a code for a chemistry study guide as our helping our school project. Okay, so first off for the code, we have our preprocessor directives, stream.h, stdlib.h, and apstring.cpp. And then we have this globally defined variable for every single function we have, which is choice, which allows the player to input their own choice of numbers. And then we have our functions.
IOStream lets you do cin and cout statements. stdlib does a bunch of stuff, but we used it mainly for system pause, which stops the code for a while.
Okay.
And it's like it just stops so that you don't go to the next thing too fast if you want to look over what you've done. And then apstring.cpp allows us to do strings as variables.
And we have our functions here, which we have 5.
Yep.
Okay. So then first off we start with the menu function, and then the menu function welcomes the person to the study guide. And then we have a choice for them for synthesis, which is a type of chemical equation, press 1. For decomposition, press 2. For combustion, press 3. And then press any other key to quit. So then we have them as choose, and then
Now,
they
did
input
you
their
say
choose.
your global variable was choice?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're using choose.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
use it differently for these because we use choice for when they do practicing the chemical equations. And then you choose 1, it calls upon the synthesis function. Choose 2, it calls upon the decomp, combustion, so on and so forth. Any other key, goodbye, quits the program.
Okay, so this is the synthesis function, and here you'll see systemcls, which is another part of stdlib. And what it does is it basically clears the screen so that this whole section of the code is new and it's not the same as the original menu. Once you choose whether you want to practice or continue, if you choose practice, you start at an if statement here. And what that does is that it clears the screen again, and it shows you right here this. And what you have to do is you have to solve this chemical equation and predict the outcome. We used AP string because you need to be able to enter words and not numbers, so normal variables wouldn't work. And right here, it says that it has 2 quotation marks around it, because if not, it would be like having an undeclared variable instead of having that be the answer. So the quotation marks are really important, because if not, then it doesn't read it as that's the answer. So if you enter the right answer, it does good job, and then it pauses the screen so that you can check and choose what you want to do next, basically. And if not, then it goes to our other if statement here inside of the first one, and it couts incorrect, and it tells you what the right answer is. And again, it pauses the screen. If your choice was 4, which is basically, it takes you back to the menu, you get the menu again, and you can choose if you want to do one of the other 2 types of predicting chemical equation problems. And then here's the menu. It's basically the same as the original, but it's in the function now, and it's not, but it does basically the same thing. It calls the functions when you choose.
Decomp. Our function for decomp is basically the same thing as synthesis. We have systemcls to clear the screen, and then we show the person the pattern, so then they know how to practice. And then practice, press 1. To continue, press 4. If you press 4, you get this menu, and then you get to choose, just as well as in our menu function. And then here, we have 2 answers instead of just 1. So then for correct 1 and correct 2, because it depends whether the person inputs this first or this first, it doesn't matter. And then, yeah, and then there, and then if you get it, good job, then it pauses. And then if you don't get it incorrect, then it tells you the actual answer. And then you can choose it.
Cool. Okay, the reason that this one has more if statements is so basically this is the same thing, but the difference is that this one has 2 different answers here, and so it did not matter which one went where. So we just wanted to make sure that you had that right. And like I said, again, it pauses the screen and then it takes you back to the menu.
Okay. And then combustion, which is our last function, is the same thing, except we had to use subscripts and balancing because there's not really a combustion type of equation that is balanced, like by itself without numbers. So in this one, the player had to input the number and subscript, but since there is no subscripts on C++, you have to just input it as like a regular number. And then the same thing as decomp with the 2 answers. And then if you get it right, good job, pauses. If you get it wrong, incorrect, and pauses. If you press 4, it continues on. And then to quit, yeah.
Okay, these functions and in the decomps, it has 2 things here, 2 conditions for the if statement, like right here and here, instead of just 1, because there are 2 different answers. So you needed 2 conditions, because if not, then it would only be able to give you 1 answer. So that's what the and does. It makes sure that if you put in your answer, the condition is that both of these 2 things here need to be met before you can go on. And the 2 bars here are or. So if either one of those happens, then this CL is incorrect, because if one part of your equation is wrong, then the whole thing is wrong.
Okay, let's run this code.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to your chemistry study guide. For synthesis, press 1. For decomposition, press 2. For combustion, press 3. Press any other key to quit.
Okay, let's do 3.
All combustions equations follow this pattern, and then it shows the pattern. To practice, press 1. To continue, press 4. Capitalization counts as well as spelling and balancing.
Okay, so let's do 1.
So, this is the equation, what do you think it is?
So, if I'm reading this correctly, this is 2 molecules of C3H8O?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, plus 9 oxygens.
Yes.
All right, let me just take a wild guess. Let me do 7 carbon dioxide and 3 waters.
Oh. Whoops. That's incorrect.
You're close.
It's close though.
Yeah.
Close, we're up.
Okay, so okay, now let's press any key to continue.
Yeah, that's the pause
And then
screen.
it's
Look
the-
over your answer and see what you got wrong instead of it immediately taking you to the menu.
Okay, so that's because of you imported stdlib.h,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That and the clear screens, that's all has to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like a very interesting program that you can actually make extremely useful just by adding a few extra things, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, very good. Okay, questions, Alas?
I'm still a little confused. What does system pause do?
Okay,
It's-
system pause is right here where it says press any key to continue.
Yeah.
That's system pause. Basically what it does is instead of it immediately taking you to synthesis 1, decomp, and the next menu, it stops the screen for a little while until you press any key, so you have time to look over your
Yeah.
answers here.
Until you're ready to move on, basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The only suggestion that I'd make is, looks like you're doing the synthesis and decomposition for only a very small number of organic molecules, right? I mean, what if you want to do something with chlorine or with nitrogen or ammonia or something like that? This program wouldn't do that. You're basically limited to carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen.
Yeah, like, cause we can't do subscripts, so it's just I guess it kind of looks kind of confusing.
Right.
So we try to stay away from like doing practice problems with balancing, because we didn't want like it to be confusing. But then we couldn't with this.
Also, our synthesis is not C, O, or H. We have lithium and fluorine, I think. Or what
Yeah,
was the other one?
lithium and LiF. Yeah, lithium.
Potassium and what is
And
that?
then potassium and
Cyanide?
Chlorine.
Potassium,
Yeah,
no, and
potassium
cyanide.
you're right,
Interesting combination of atoms there, guys.
Yeah. We didn't check it over.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I could imagine you're developing this a little more and having it be extremely useful to someone that is trying to do balancing equations or trying to work with, for example, the citric acid cycle or something like that. So, okay, very good, very good. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah.
Okay, very good, guys. OP.
Let's